All right, y'all, take off your shirts, get your nipple clips, pull down your pants because you're about to get an edging.
Turn on some Law and Order SVU a la Captain Sandy, staring at Mariska, Cheeto fingers.
Cheeto.
Like
Now
Kalani.
you say, because of Kalani, when we say Cheeto fingers, now it's a whole different
It's a thing. This is Love is Blind Season 2.
2.
Otherwise known as the influencer season. But it was messy as fuck.
Ironically, we're edging you because we're preparing you for season 4 of Love is Blind. That's dropping on Netflix on what day? March
24th.
March 24th. Our episodes will drop the day after.
It's your own personal trash advent calendar.
Yes.
Yes.
And this, we didn't like this season of Love is Blind of season 2. However,
we had fun talking about it.
We talk about it probably more than any other season now.
I agree with you. A lot of them winded up on that show, Perfect Match.
But don't spoil it for people because they want to know what if they haven't watched Love is Blind and they don't know.
Okay, look, Perfect Match is everywhere.
Well, I'm just saying.
They need to fucking come out of their caves.
Maybe they don't know about Shane and Natalie, and they don't know, and they're wanting to.
Oh, and you may not, about young Gary Busey. Who's looking for werewolves?
Y'all, it's a weird season. We go rogue, but we hope that you enjoy
Very
it.
rogue.
Very rogue. We will tell you this. Season 4 of Love is Blind is, I think, we've done 4 episodes. It's the best season of Love is Blind we've had so far.
I kind of agree with you.
It's really good. So, and
especially, who thought that Cocaine Bear was going to join the cast? Sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Netflix won't get us for that. I will say the After the Altar, which we cover that too, but the After the Altar of season 2 was the best After the Altar.
Because it was super, super messy.
Super messy. So, y'all, enjoy the ride. We had a ball covering it. This was previously just on a Reality Gaze Plus, but now it's for all of you on this free feed. Enjoy our season 2 of Love is what, Poodle?
Blind.
All right, 90 Day. Okay, Love is Blind, take 1.
Love is blind. Love is blind. Love is blind. It's 90 Day Gaze presenting Love is Blind. It's back! It's back!
Love it blind. Love it blind.
And it's good.
It's
good. It's so good.
It's so good.
I was so worried about it being bad. I was so worried about the sophomore slump of this. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Y'all, this is like, okay, picture
this
it.
Is bonkers.
You're going out. You're having a wild. You had a summer. You've been teaching at a girls' arts camp all summer. And you decide to take a weekend break and go to Kittery, Maine. You get fish and chips.
Why does this feel personal?
Not at all. And then you're sitting at that restaurant, and then some sailor just comes in from the port in Maine, and he just comes in. He orders a fish.
Hey there, chips. How are you?
Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're having a beer, and then 2 hours later, you're getting railed like the mermaid you always wanted to be by a sailor. And then he goes.
I can see the sea breeze in your eyes.
Woo! And then you kiss him off in the morning. He leaves you in your bed.
Like the brine.
And you know that he's gone back to sea. And then 2 years later, you find out he's married. Oh, wait, no, that's not how this is supposed to go. He's supposed to come back and fuck you. That's what Love is Blind is like. It's like 2 years later, you're having that good old sea sex again. Not that you.
I don't think I followed that.
Yeah. I think my real story was more sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever that was.
I'm overstimulated because this was so fucking good.
I've had a crazy day that has been like putting out fires in all directions. and watching this show, and I needed this, and I'm drinking because of the putting out fires made me.
You better not get too drunk. This is episode 1, and we still are doing we're doing 3 episodes
by episode
tonight.
3, I'm gonna be sloshed. So
you better
remember
not.
When I used to get drunk on shows?
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
We don't really do that anymore.
Didn't go good. We don't do that anymore.
I just kind of get belligerent after a while.
Insert more belligerent.
Y'all. This is back for, if you don't know who we are, if you are joining going, I just want to hear 2 queers talk about Love is Blind.
Welcome.
We are reality gays, formerly 90 Day Gays.
The theme song still says 90 Day Gays. That's because y'all Poodle lost his voice.
We haven't recorded it
together, so we have to. Actually, I guess we'll record it
We're going to record it this weekend.
Actually, but I'm not home until this show. I'm not home until this show ends. So fuck it.
No, I've already figured out how we're going to do it. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to record my part over it, and you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Maybe we're not going to have time.
All right.
We're not going to have time. It's going to be 90 Day Gays. But y'all, if you are new, I'm Matt, aka Matt Marr, aka Matt. New. I'm Matt Marr, aka Maddie, and that belligerent queen is Poodle, aka Jake.
Not always belligerent, just when I have long days.
Just when you have long days. So,
but we love this show. We love Vanessa Lachey and obviously Nick Lachey. But now saying that, I'm glad we only saw them once.
I will say, actually, their dialogue they've written for them is much better.
It is
much, But y'all, season 1, it was like so weird and halty. And remember, don't forget, we loved Vanessa Lachey on the reunion. She was great on the reunion. So
she still has that scratchy voice.
Well, yeah, that's going to be her forever. I love her. I loved her outfits. So y'all, if you want to hear season 1 of Love is Blind, that is all. The first 2 episodes are on a free feed, and the rest is on our $5 or $8
Patreon
Lonely Heart.
It's our Lonely Heart level, which
Lonely
is our
Heart
Netflix
level.
binges.
That's the $5 tier.
We normally do we normally do 90 Day Fiance, Below Deck, and Summer House, and some other reality that you'll find. But we did Love is Blind last year.
And we're going to do the same this year, y'all. The first 2 episodes of this are going to be on our free feed. And then if you want to join, just click on the link in the show notes or go to our website, realitygaze.com. And you can join our Patreon or Supercast at the $5 level, and you can listen to all the episodes.
I will definitely tell you this. We have a live show in Los Angeles coming up at the end of February 27th. And we're going to be talking about Love is Blind because I will still be keyed the fuck up.
Because that will be the night before the finale. That will be the night before the finale of Love is Blind.
No, the show is on a Sunday.
I think it airs on like the 28th, I thought.
Oh, never mind.
Wait. You're right. It drops on the 25th, so we can talk about the finale.
We'll be talking about it, yeah.
We'll be talking about. Maybe we'll have somebody from Love is Blind on the show. We won't.
They're all in Atlanta.
They're all or Chicago. They
were kind of
who the
thirsty.
Fuck we are.
They were the last time they were kind of thirsty to talk to us, and we're like, eh. Didn't we talk to one guy? I can't remember.
No, I think you're thinking of Too Hot to Handle. We talked to somebody. I don't think we interviewed.
No,
anybody.
we talked to Finding Prince Charming people.
Yes, because they were really thirsty, and it was a gay show. That was pretty. Yeah. Hey, if you're on
not Finding Prince Charming, I'm sorry. I almost said Made to Order.
Labor of Love.
Made to Order, starring Ali Sheedy.
They just shorter. So yes, if
You've
are
never
on
seen
Love,
that movie, you've never seen that movie.
I remember it though. I remember it at Lone Grove Video, just hanging up.
Come at me if you've seen Made to Order.
Come at us. I've heard it. I'm sure it's good. Is Ali Sheedy alive? You know what? We shouldn't mention.
Yes, she is, and she's wonderful. She was great in this lesbian movie called High Art that I recommend if you like lesbian movies.
Well, she'll be dead now because we talked about her.
No, she won't. She's good.
I just want to say too that if you are in Love is Blind right now and you want to talk to us, reach out. We might talk to you. Who knows? Probably not. But
you need to be interesting enough. So
we got a lot of stuff going on right now. So, okay.
I love this show.
I love this show. Y'all, if you don't know, I'm going to quickly, like in a second, if you don't watch the show, I will say this now. Stop what you're doing and go on Netflix and watch it. If you want to watch it, quicker on your Netflix app on your computer or phone, you can even, I think, speed it up if you're one of those people.
You
If
can
you
do
don't have
that.
time, you can. You can watch it at like 1.5. I will
I really
say
learn a lot when from our show.
it's from listeners that tell me shit. So you guys, so you can watch, but if you're not going to watch the show, regrettably, we have to tell you the way this works is they get a bunch of men and a bunch of women, and they all are in these pods or these little rooms,
They can't see each other. They can only talk to one another.
and they can only talk to one another. There's blankets, there's markers and
There's
crayons, which we
blankets,
know
there's
why they're there.
pillows, there are horrible goblets, which we now know are for continuity.
Yeah,
Those awful metallic goblets are back.
they're horrible.
They're so ugly.
I don't know why there's crayons and markers in every pod. I don't
It
know
is
why.
strange, and
And
I
no
don't
one
think
ever did
anyone
anything
used
with
it.
them. No. But anyway, y'all, they're in there and they're meeting people and they are just trying to figure out if is love blind, as Nick Lachey says. Now,
Is
love blind.
And they have to propose before they leave the pods, and then they spend some time on the quote outside, and then they get married after 4 weeks, and they have to decide if they were going to get married.
How long are they in the pods? That's what I don't. Again,
It's
keep
a
this
mystery.
a secret. It is a mystery.
I think it feels anywhere for me to be about in between 5 days and 2 weeks.
Because
I still think they're underground somewhere beneath like Sun Valley or somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Even though I think it is Atlanta.
Roswell. I want to know why wouldn't they why wouldn't they tell us? I don't know why they would, because to me, I want to know if someone proposes, like did Nick propose to Danielle after only 3 days in the pod and they still had 2 weeks to be there?
I think it is very accelerated. I think that's why I'm saying I think it's in between 5 days. I don't think it's any longer than 2 weeks though.
I know. Can't be longer than 2 weeks.
Because of filming.
Because of filming.
But it is unsure because we don't know when it's day, when it's night. And it is a weird part of the show. I still find the show much more compelling when they're still in the pods. I still say that because
I agree.
Yeah. I wish they had stayed in the pods longer this time, but it's almost like because we watched a couple episodes by now. But I wish they would have stayed in the pods longer.
We wish that last time, and I also wish that the thing I didn't, there's a lot of people that we don't really see. R.I.P. Rocky. Ooh, that man was hot. Ooh, he was hot.
Oh, I barely saw him,
but he was hot.
He wasn't. It's so interesting you talk about him because there was someone called Joey with the gray hair was featured a lot.
Was it Joey or Ben? I thought his name was Ben. Was it Joey with the gray hair? He was hot too.
Joey.
Oh, he was hot. He was hot.
But he was featured. He was like, and we also saw Vito, and all these people were featured.
I didn't like
and
Vito.
We never really saw them.
No, and which is what happened last time. I agree with that too. Like, I almost wish. So okay, so let's talk about what's different. To me, we did not see a proposal the first episode of Love is Blind season 1, if I'm correct. It was like, but it was season 2 when Cameron proposed to
episode 2.
Episode 2 when Cameron proposed to Lauren, correct?
Yeah, that was the first one.
I agree with you. I wish they were in the pod more, and I wish that there was a little bit more like, I almost wouldn't mind if they like extended the drama of like who's who in the pod, and then the last maybe episode 4 was just all of them proposing and kind of that drama all in one episode. But I get it. They want to build. It makes a build up to see if someone said yes, and then they meet each other and see each other. But
it also creates love triangles, which is what they really want.
What they really, really want. Yes.
Yeah. What I really, really want. Could we just talk a little bit? Let's compare seasons just from this first episode. I think thinking about this. Number one, the very first moment, Katy Perry's song "Unconditional" came on. I'm like, okay, we've got a little more money now.
Yeah, we got a lot more money now.
And it's one of the worst things because y'all, I don't know if you know this song "Unconditional," but the way she says it is unconditional, unconditional. That's what we call bad prosody. And I'm a Katy Perry fan. I just have a little bit of problem with that.
No one cares about that.
Well, you can understand it. It's kind of the same problem I have with the Beyonce and Lady Gaga duet, Telephone.
We can't get into this. We can't do this. This is a free show to help people introduce them into love.
I will not alienate people with my concerns about lyrics. I do want to say in our Sissy Squad, I popped off about Lady Gaga writing shitty lyrics, and I'm a fan. I love what she does for the LGBTQ community. All of it. I love all that, and I love her vocals. She's not a good songwriter. Her lyrics aren't good. And people who saying, "Yep, I'm a little monster," you're right, 100%. They're bad.
Yeah,
like,
the Sissy Squad.
Write in your Lisa Frank notebook.
Our Sissy Squad is our Facebook group. We're almost 10,000 people strong, and we have fun in there.
We have fun in there.
So I think this first season is, I think they casted way messier people.
Cast. No one says casted.
Oh, okay. They cast way messier people.
I agree. And I think they casted, now I'm doing it. I think they cast prettier people, like model hot.
This season or last season?
No, last season.
Yes, last season was prettier. Like
Cameron and Lauren could both model.
And Giannina.
Yeah, and I don't think there are any these are still attractive people, but this is like, if you wanted to say that everyone on Love is Blind season 1 was like an 8 or a 9, there are some good 6, 7s, maybe even a few 5s thrown in here.
And also too, I like that they.
And I'm not saying that to be dismissive. It's true.
No, and which I actually think makes it more interesting because
I agree. Normal people.
That's what we said. Yeah, they just think normal pretty, and also too, not everybody last season in Love is Blind, every man was super fit and every woman was super skinny.
That's true.
I feel like we
do see some more. We do see some more
different
bigger
body types,
body types.
That's interesting. That was more interesting for me this season. So,
did we have any Asian cast members last time?
I thought about that too. I don't. If we did, they were gone too soon.
Yeah. But we do have an Asian woman who's now main cast.
Yes.
And so I find the casting to be really much more interesting this season.
I do too. Way more interesting.
You're right. Everyone was very, very fit season 1.
And when I say when I say messier too, I mean messier not by look wise. I meant messier like I feel like people are dealing with more emotional kind of messiness and insecurity.
There are no Ambers this season. Although Shayna may get us there. Holy fuck.
I mean, is she an Amber or is she a Jessica? Because she's got 2 men that she can't choose from.
Oh my God. We're going to definitely talk about Shayna some more.
I kind of think she's a Jessica of the season, but more likable sometimes.
It's interesting though, because unlike some of Jessica's, the way she behaved, I can completely understand why Shayna is behaving that way.
Yeah.
So, and some it's not coming from her own insecurities. It's coming from a natural. It's almost like the limitations of the game itself. Like say the game, but the show.
No, I was about to say it's what you're. I think catching on is Shayna likes to win. She's competitive.
Yeah, and
where Jessica was not.
I kind of am here to watch her. She's the most interesting person on the show for me.
I don't know if there's the most. I still have to. I feel
her
like
and Mallory. Her and Mallory are the most interesting for me.
There's a lot of interesting people on this season. So, yeah, I think anything else you want to add for seasons, or are you ready to jump in?
Did you? Maybe they said this in season 1. But I don't remember. Vanessa Lachey said, "This is when you can date not based on your looks, race, background, or income." I don't remember it being that laid out on
Uh,
season 1. Maybe it was, but I don't
we'd have to.
remember it.
I don't think so. They're way more. They just know what they're doing now because they
But
even say it's Nick Lachey. This is proven to work,
right,
like it's some scientific study.
but exactly because of like 2 couples.
Yeah, because 2 couples made it.
I don't know if it's proven. Nick
It's
Lachey,
proven.
obviously Nick Lachey.
Yeah.
So y'all, before we start, just as a first impression, which one of the guys do either of us want to bang?
Oh,
Who do I want to bang?
I'm torn on this because look-wise, when you look at him first, until he kind of opened his mouth and started talking, I was like, Poodle's going to want to bang Salvador by the look. But then he started talking, and I went, no, Poodle's not going to bang him.
Yeah, he's too normal for me. I would fall in love with him, though.
And so
I don't want to talk about it. Oh, God.
And then I kind of, for you, I've landed on, I think you would want to fuck Kyle because you want to grab on his big ears.
Oh, he is.
Because you've got a thing with ears.
He's a bit of a simp for me. That's the problem. I really wanted Joey. Joey was my favorite one.
The silver hair guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was very good looking.
It's probably Salvador after everything we've seen in the last 3 episodes, which we're going to get to.
I'm hoping Jake and I we both got music degrees in opera from the University of North Texas, which a lot of people from El Paso, it's the best music school in the state.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping one of our old UNT colleagues knows him.
Maybe.
I texted Sissy Alyssa, but she does not.
It's not hard for me. You picked Jarrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, y'all. He's my type. Whoa.
See, it's interesting because I find him to be a complete bullshitter. In his, I think it was attractive at first, but boy, talk about silver words coming out of his mouth. We're going to talk about it.
We're talking like, I'm not talking about personality. I'm talking about look-wise. Yeah, look-wise. Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Anybody else?
I mean, let's be honest, y'all. We would sleep with all of them because we're whores. Because we're sex positive.
Yeah.
But no, that's really it for me. And Rocky, but we saw him once.
I was kind of torn on Shane because part of me wants to kick his teeth in. And I will say he's got a big old dick, though. So
yeah, but he talks to you so much while you're having sex.
I know. No, you're right.
There's a lot of intense looking at you and talking.
Y'all, I'm telling you this. The gross, the dirtiest, that girl part of me would fuck Shane, and then I'd feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm going to have a lot to say about Shane later.
Yeah.
But, so let's start the show!
Let's start. So the way it works, y'all, there is a women's living quarter and then the men's living quarter. So they do kind of like, they have their own space where they're living. You don't see a lot of that. Again, what I like about the show is most of the action takes place in the pods.
There's lots of blankets. There's lots of pillows.
Yes, it
must be freezing there.
It must be. We're gonna go ahead and jump more into the pod talk because that's where the more interesting stuff is. But there's just know that there's a lot of conversations between the girls about what I look like and what guys think of me, and Iana saying, I look like a 13-year-old boy. I don't
with
have
no
boobs
and
or
a butt. Yeah.
And so there's just all that kind of talk. So I feel like we should just jump into kind of is there anything else? I don't think there's anything that stood out for me.
I just had a thought. I'm like, why did they even bother showing us? Why is the editing even showing us people who don't get chosen? It's interesting to me.
I think they only showed you because then those people
feels more realistic.
I think that it feels more realistic, so you don't know, but also, and you're guessing who's going to be with who. Then also there's also funny moments at first, and then there's also they talk. The people go back to the house and talk to other people in the house, and so it gives us that moment to talk to them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's just jump right in. So Jarrett and Iana, or Iana, I think it's Iana. And they basically, this is kind of the first spark we see. He's
Mhm.
being funny. They're talking about being close with he's like, "Are you and your mom close?" And this is the first reveal way early in the show. She's like,
Yeah.
"Actually, my mom gave me up to my first cousin." And now, y'all, is this, we don't know how long this is in, but is this a big emotional reveal early? It is.
Yeah.
And already someone like Iana, you're like, this is going to be someone who is a lot to handle emotionally. And I don't think that's
Probably, yeah.
lost on Jarrett or Jarrett. I keep calling him Jarrett,
It's
but Jarrett. It's the
Jarrett,
way it's
yeah.
spelled. I want to say Jarrett.
I get it. Yeah, but it's Jarrett,
Jarrett.
yeah. Yes, but, because Jarrett tells us that he doesn't tell her this yet, but we just know that he was in ICU by himself for, and so one of the reasons why
Mm-hmm.
being here, it made him several of them have had kinda near-death experiences or their family
Right.
or their parents died, and they wanted it had them kind of this come to Jesus moment, and that's why he's looking for pure love. But yes, she opens up to him, and he's like, wow, that was a lot. And he said it. She said, the odds were against me. That I should kind of have more kind of problems, and I should be kind of more have a lot
Yeah,
more
I
angst, but I'm not.
should not be this okay now, she says.
Yes, and
But
Jared's like, well, it's nice meeting you.
and I think he's freaked out by that a little bit. It is a little bit, and I understand. I guess he did ask her, so of course she had to share it. So I'm thinking, I guess there was maybe no other option.
I
She's like, I
guess.
might as well just do it. So y'all, the way this show is doing this is they position. They're always trying to show us a love triangle about someone who is actually talking to someone else. And you're getting to witness a love triangle that's going to go on for about 3 episodes now. Jarrett is talking to Mallory
Mallory.
next, and
Hmm.
they're both big sports people. And she's like, "I'm going to call you Jer Bear," and she's like, "Has anybody ever called you that?" He's like, "No, no one calls me anything."
No one calls me
Uh,
anything. But they're big sports people. And so that's already something they're connecting with.
yeah,
And so what Mallory says kind of her in the moment to the camera, she says, what I love about this is people don't sit. It's interesting that she says this because it's that whole thing of y'all. We say all the time on the show, you spot it, you got it. And I stole that from my friend Don. But because we see this in later, I think episodes, and even in episode 3, Mallory's like, people don't sit with your feelings. People kind of avoid these conversations. I wonder how Mallory's going to handle those conversations because,
right.
right, yeah,
That's why I find her to be. We've watched a couple episodes now, you guys, and I won't spoil it, but I find her to be so interesting.
that's why this whole thing is interesting because
Yeah.
y'all, when we are at, honestly, I think one of the most vulnerable times in our lives, not the most, but one of the most, is when we're meeting someone on a first date and
Mm-hmm.
getting to know them for the first, because to have a true connection, you have to have that vulnerability, and
And
that's scary,
and it's weird. Like
and it brings up all
I
of our shit and our
I
childhood
kind
shit.
of I kind of love that. It
Oh, yeah.
feels like, to me it feels, no, I'm saying when I'm out on a first date, it feels like adrenaline to me. Like meeting someone for the first time. A lot of people hate it.
Mhm.
And they're thinking about what the result's going to be. And I've learned in my dating in my 30s and even 40s that I've learned to enjoy just doing that. And having no expectation behind it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I know that's not a shared thing.
No,
Most
a
people,
lot of
they
people
say they
don't.
hate dating.
I hated just the online swiping. I actually if a man would ever go on a date with me, I enjoyed that part, but it didn't happen a lot. Oh well, it's fine. I'm in a great
Well,
relationship now.
and when
I
and
just
when you and when you did, they were usually too drunk to pay.
They
So
were. You know what? Yep. celebrated my 7th anniversary this week, so I'm okay now. But yeah, but there is. I think you should, y'all. You really try to get yourself in a way of getting excited about those first dates. And honestly, I kind of when I would go on first dates, I wanted to meet someone else, but also was like not in an arrogant way, but like I'm gonna be myself,
Yeah.
and if they don't like it, that's okay. I just this is an opportunity to show. But with Mallory, with Mallory, she is so y'all. This last year we kind of had one on last season. We had basically like one love triangle, like only
Yeah.
one.
Elsie.
Producers
Well,
really went.
they went Elsie. There was two, but none who really made it. It was Elsie and Barnett and Amber, and then later on it was Jess, Amber, and Barnett.
Yes, 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 yes. So,
But that's the only one that made it.
yes. So, um, that's kind of and so Mallory says that. Then we see now Mallory
With Salvador.
is Salvador, and he's from El Paso. He's I don't know, you probably he grew on me, but my first impression of him was I was skeezed out because he just seemed so he's like, I'm into vulnerability. I like crying. I think crying strength. That's great. But the way he
Well,
was saying it with his voice so
I
low.
I think that's his voice, and
I
I
see
was
that
skeezed out
now.
at the beginning. I was
But
skeezed out at the beginning too, but that's
it felt
him.
like it I see that now, but if you've only watched the first episode, it feels like bullshit.
Yeah,
It feels
y'all.
like bullshit and he's playing a character. But I don't think it is.
Salvador or Sal was an opera singer in college,
Mhm.
and they speak a little Spanish. They both and Mallory has the same
Yes,
background,
he does.
and
He does say though, y'all, I haven't found someone who appreciates my love as much as I appreciate theirs. That's a red flag.
I agree. Now
That's a red flag.
he also said, "I'm like a
That's someone
Ferrero. I'm like a Ferrero Rocher, soft in the middle." I'm like, that is the gayest thing I've ever heard.
that is the gayest thing I've ever heard. But y'all, if somebody says things like they just didn't appreciate my love, they could have love
But
addiction. They could
when
really
he
jump from just being in love with somebody all the
when
time.
he sang "Adios, mi amor," you got a little stiffy.
He's got a pretty voice. He has a pretty voice. And he's
Anyway,
very pretty. He's actually probably I know Jarrett is like a little more muscly, but I think Sal's actually the most fit guy on the show.
I think Jared has a dad bod.
No, Jarrett's like muscly. His arms are muscly and stuff like that. He looks more.
No, the muscly guy is Shane.
I think. Well, you haven't stalked their Instagrams like I have. If you want,
I see.
that Salvador is actually like has the most abs because
No, I believe it.
Shane has a dad bod too. Actually,
Really?
he's a little soft in the middle. It's kind of like one
And
ab.
Jared has abs?
No, they both kind of have the same body. They're kind of like they're like fit, but like kind of slimmer, but like
Salvador
more
has the
meaty.
body. Yeah.
Salvador has like a model,
I believe
like
it.
skinny body. Yeah.
So then we have to talk about Shake and Deep Tea.
Let's talk about them, y'all. We're gonna take a commercial for people on the free feed, but if you're listening on the Patreon or Supercast, we're gonna keep right on going. Okay.
I get along best with girls who work out. Okay. I like it when I can carry them on my shoulders at music festivals, which tells you I'm a total douche.
Well, he's a DJ.
I drive a Tesla.
He's a DJ.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called he does. I guess it's a DJ. I don't know. So now
I like to date younger.
I will say though, y'all, because we watched the first 3 episodes, because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Just hold on, because he's different than he is in the first episode. There is a change in this character, I will say. God, he is asking all these superficial questions and about people's bodies when that's the whole point. You're not supposed to do that, dude.
Wait, so like, what do you look like? What do you? He was like, what did he say? Would I have trouble picking you up? Can you imagine if someone asked that, y'all?
Yeah, he asked it to several girls, and the girls just were like, I think it was Shayna.
One moment, like, that's superficial.
She was like, that's superficial. Why are you asking that? He also said he's only dated white girls. And
yes.
And actually, Deep, who he goes on his kind of first
Deep
meeting
Tea,
with,
yeah.
Deep. She goes by Deep sometimes too.
Or
So I'm
Deeps, he calls her.
Deeps, yeah. Deep Tea, she has only dated white guys before.
Yep.
So, and they're both. What's interesting is they're both Indian. I'm sorry, we didn't say that, y'all. They're both Indian.
And this is why I think this was not that I think you have to be the same race, but especially if you're Indian, your parents are going to accept it a lot easier.
They are.
And because especially you're from the same exact tradition, this may be because if you've watched Indian matchmaking or have any or family karma or have any knowledge of Indian culture, it's much easier with your family if you marry someone who's also Indian.
It's true, but it does seem like in their past that Deeps and Shake don't give a shit about that. They're kind of in doing their own thing.
But it's also your family. When you're married to someone, it's very different.
It's true. But he's like, I love music. I'm a house DJ. And she's like, oh my God, I love music too. Music's great.
Isn't she stunning? Like,
she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning.
I think so too. I think she's probably the most beautiful woman.
She's
in the
the
house.
most beautiful woman, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. And so, I mean, but they do this whole monologue because Deep ends up talking not just to her, but he it's like 3 different women. He's asking them all.
It's awful. Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah, it's awful.
But I will say, hold your opinion about him.
Hold him
until you see a couple shows.
Because my mouth dropped in episode 3 about him, y'all. My mouth dropped. So, okay, you should also know there's some things back at the house. Nick's made it. We'll meet Nick later, but like Nick made a spreadsheet. He's like kind of nerdy.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Yes. And Iana's already like, I'm feeling Jared and I'm feeling Nick. And she's like, Kyle, I think, is a troublemaker. So we'll see. And now it's day 2 and everybody has their gold cups and they're drinking their water or drinks or whatever they're going to drink in. And so we meet, which is important. We meet Natalie.
Shane and Natalie.
Yes.
They go on, they're in their date.
And we should say this because she brings it up. She's a very beautiful Asian woman. But she talks about like being an Asian on the apps. The guys meet her and then they say, wait a minute, you're not quiet. They're
surprised when she's not cold and quiet.
Yeah, you're loud, you're gregarious. And so, which she describes herself as that. I don't know if she is that, but.
Well, and y'all, Shane is a former frat boy who's basically running off of Red Bull.
Oh, y'all.
And he has huge arms and wears tiny t-shirts.
He kind of looks like
he looks like Shep. Like a hotter version of Shep from Southern Charm to me.
I was gonna say he looks like a hot, younger Gary Busey.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that kind of because they both have the teeth, and so pretty teeth.
There, I'm Gary Busey. How we're gonna go talk to? I never thought I could do Gary Busey, but I'm kind of doing it now.
I don't know if you
should just see my teeth right now because I'm showing it, and I'm kind of biting the microphone.
Yeah, this isn't on video. Thank you, but I'm seeing it.
My
and it's
Gary Busey.
Oh wow. I'm seeing it because we're remote.
Have you seen my movie Silver Bullet? It's with some werewolves. You know what werewolves are? Sorry, I'll stop.
I'm not going to bring him up anymore.
We went to a weird place. Doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair, you can still kill werewolves.
Okay, so they've got gold cups, everybody. So now Natalie does say like she didn't go out on a date with a guy because he wore jean shorts, and she never would. So that's kind of she is.
I support that statement.
I support that. She said now her reason she saw her grandfather take care of her grandmother who had who had dementia or some Alzheimer's, and she said I want that type of unconditional love. So she meets Shane and they're starting to talk, and she's like, I'm glad I'm talking to you. And it's like, it's so easy to talk to you. He's like, I feed off energy. Now I'm trying to talk like that. Thank you.
I feed
by
off energy. Okay, from now on, my Shane voice is also my Gary Busey voice.
great.
I feed off energy, y'all.
That's not how he sounds at all.
Yeah.
He almost has a Chicago accent.
No, it does. You mean Shane?
Shane.
But Gary Busey doesn't.
No, Gary Busey doesn't.
I'm doing Shane as Gary Busey. That's what I'm saying. I like it you coming for me and telling me how someone's accent is.
Hey, I'm just doing what you do to me.
Well, yours is terrible.
It's
So
fine.
anyway, Shane's like, she liked me.
So he has this moment.
I'm a huge tool.
He does seem like a tool, but they have this moment where she's like, he says, "What do you do?" She said, "I'm a consultant." And she said, "I don't want to brag, but I am a good fit for it." And Shane says, "No, you should brag on yourself. You should be proud of what you're doing and being confident in who you are." And you see Natalie take that in because that already immediately is like what she needs to hear.
I'm going to tell you guys this, and my opinion may change. Shane is a dangerous person to be in a relationship with or to date because he's an undercover dick. He is very, very, when he doesn't get hit, he loves trying to get to know you. But as soon as he doesn't feel in charge of what's happening, he will act like a child and he will start to get angry.
I do agree that because we see that in some later episodes.
But he doesn't like to show that part of himself.
No, I think it also has to do with, I think he's actually quite insecure and he's
very insecure.
He needs constant validation. So when the attention is not on him, he feels like that's not validating him. And so I actually think I agree with you, everything you just said. And I want to add to that. I think Shane is actually a high maintenance person to be in a relationship.
Very much so. And he is extremely exhausting to be in a relationship with. He would think he's fun and playful, but he will drain everything from you because he will require so much because you think he's a cool guy and he's fun. But if it doesn't go his way, he will turn into a toddler. And you will spend all that time, if you were having a bad day, building him back up to somewhere he needs to be.
Agree.
Can't you so see that?
Yes.
That this guy reads that way to me.
I think so too. I don't think he's I don't think we should make a difference. We don't think he's we say he's kind of a tool. I don't think he's like a bad person.
No. He's just exhausting. He's immature.
Exhausting. Yeah, he's immature. So he even says, I need to be in front of people. So
and I will say, this guy, y'all, especially with his voice, because he's a real estate person, this guy knows how to sell himself, which is why he also goes on a date with Shayna, one of our favorites.
Now, Shane does say, quote, I think I'm a huge tool. He said, can I get why I'm a tool?
Yeah.
He does say that. He says, but I have a kind heart.
He's the life of every party.
He's like, but I'm kind and I'm passionate about who I am. So we'll see.
And I'll be honest, y'all, this is the kind of guy who I'd be at a party with because I'm that girl. And I recognize people like this because I recognize them as people I'd want to at least hook up with and date for a while, and they'd exhaust me and they'd suck my energy like a Dementor.
Yes. So now they would. So Shayna, y'all, Shane and Shayna are in a pod, and Shayna's a hairstylist. And she's like, if I find a guy who's funny and emotionally attractive, then they just get even hotter to me. They just get even harder.
Are you playful?
I love
that.
And she's like, also, I don't want to date a 10 because I don't want another woman coming after my man.
Yeah, unpack that.
Yeah. So she's to be trusted. But yeah.
Y'all, I would have loved to have been in the room when this person was cast.
Oh, yeah. And Shane said to her, she's like, what are you looking for in a wife? And he said, self-awareness is key for me in a wife. And I went, well, you're not going to get it here.
No.
You're not going to hit it. And she's like, oh, I'm the biggest hype person you can ask for. I'm just like, go.
She is extremely messy. And she's
great TV.
She has gotten through life being, oh my God, you've got to meet my friend Shayna. She is crazy. She is absolutely bonkers. I guarantee you Shayna's relationship history reads like just a horror movie.
Yeah. And she kind of looks like, y'all. She looks like the lost Libby sister from Libby and Andre.
She does.
Because she's got blonde hair. She's a pretty white girl, blonde hair, and she always purses her lips, but she also has gotten her lips done. So she so it really makes her duck lips when she's upset, like going, I'm thinking.
It's weird because she's not someone I'm drawn to, but I can't wait to watch what she's going to do next because
she's kind of a wild dog. I don't know what she's going to do.
She's going to fuck shit up.
She's going to fuck shit up. I think she is. I think she doesn't know. Y'all, Jessica from last season, Jessica didn't know what she wanted.
No.
At all. And she had horrible insecurity. Shayna knows what she wants. And like we said, she wants to win. And she's going to do she wants to do anything to win. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Which is much more dangerous than Jessica.
Yes. So yes, but she does say, are you playful? Because that's important.
She does say important, my least favorite phrase in the world.
There's a lot of important on this show.
Y'all, if you say important, please stop that shit. Stop that shit. Important. Important or important? Or important. Or not important.
Important. So, y'all, the next one, I don't think this person's going to go far on this show, but good God, is it a pleasure to meet her.
Impression.
Y'all, let's talk about somebody in the pod. She kind of met with a lot of people, and we might pull for some of those conversations because I know the conversation she had with Brandon was great. But let's talk about Nick and
Brandon.
Exactly. Let's talk about Nick and Trisha. Let's talk about Trisha. Y'all, she's blonde, pretty, or whatever people think pretty is. She's like blonde, pretty, big boobs. She's just like. And just imagine she kind of
a walking Instagram app.
Yes, she has a little too much bronzer and she's a little too much makeup.
Yeah. I think we should just go ahead. We should just go ahead and do our first Love Is Blind theater.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Love is blind, love is blind. It's Reality Gate presenting Love is Blind Theater. Theater. Sure.
Barbecue sauce. Okay, I'll be playing the role of Nick. Poodle will be playing the role of Trisha. And action. Hey, Trisha.
Hey. Oh my God. Why is everyone so happy to meet me? Like all of you guys are so up in my grill. Like everyone's so happy to see me.
Oh, okay. I just was saying, hey.
Have you heard? Isn't everyone talking about me?
No, actually, nobody really said anything about.
Talk to my Instagram followers because they'll know that. I have a lot. I can't say this. I'm going to say this. I have a lot of friends.
Okay.
A lot of friends.
I did hear Brandon tell me you like to have hangover sex. I don't understand that.
Oh my God, it's my favorite. It's so hard to keep up with me sexually.
Oh, okay. I do yoga, so I'm bendy. I do yoga.
Oh, we can do that, but I'd rather do tantric sex and fucking blow your mind.
Okay, there seems like there's a lot of endless options.
I don't do any of your online apps. I don't do any of that. It's much better. I don't want to go out on a date. Because it's such a waste of time. I don't want to do any of that. I don't have the calories.
What?
I want to go drink at a bar and go hook up with the bartender. And then have him call me.
But are you here for love?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
And my Instagram followers. Love.
Okay. And scene.
She's a nightmare.
Y'all, Jake didn't even make up those lines. Those were actually
those
lines
were all lines she said.
Those were actually things. And Jake, you couldn't see this, but y'all, she is continually putting on this matte lip gloss that looks terrible on her. It's kind of that brown.
Yeah.
That I do want to talk to some of the women about their makeup. Danielle's blush bronzer is not doing it for me. It's just kind of gray stripe.
Yeah.
It's too much contouring.
Shayna too. Boy, she's not doing herself any favors.
She's not doing any favors. But y'all, literally, Nick walked out of that door. He shut the pod door and he went, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, Trisha is a nightmare.
She's a nightmare. And even later when she's like talking in the women's, like in there talking to I was going to say in the women's restroom, but in the women's headquarters or whatever, where they sleeping quarters, she's
in the women's Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice. She said, I forget if she says it to, maybe it's to Iana. She says, so I just mean, like, do you find that when you talk to these guys, every one of them are into you? Like
every one of them.
They're all into me. I just can't, like, I don't know how this happened.
Like, y'all, she's the worst person in the world.
I kind of want to see her Instagram, but then I don't kind of want to give her the views.
You don't.
We don't. So y'all, that was day 2. Let's talk about
Nick and Danielle.
Yes, let's talk about this is still day 2. Yeah. Let's talk about Nick and Danielle. So Nick is like, we should describe people more. We forget about it, but Nick is like kind of a nerdy white guy. He gives me these he's like if Cameron and maybe no, I don't know. There's nobody like Nick from last season. I don't
know. He's a solid.
There's never anyone like Cameron.
Never. Or Lauren. Must be protected for all costs.
Yes.
Boy, they had no idea of what they found.
Oh, they don't. So, but Nick is like a nerdy white guy, and Danielle's a pretty brunette woman. This is important. She's thinner now because she's going to talk about that. But so they're kind of in there, and Nick just says to her, he's like, "What are you thinking about?" And she's like, "Well," and she kind of opens up. She's like, "I'm always thinking. I'm an overanalyzer." And then Nick says, "Walk me through that." And I was like, "Are you a therapist?"
Well, I think he's really interesting.
He is,
and
I think he's the most interesting guy on the show for me. I think so far.
I'm not going to go as far to say I guarantee. I don't know what he's in. I don't know what he does, but it is definitely something with numbers. Because that is the way his brain.
No, he made the spreadsheet in his book of everybody. Yeah.
But I'm saying just in the logic that he thinks, his brain is working on that level. And he will always be brain first, emotion second, but only when he has processed someone to be available to what he's going to give them.
I agree, but he doesn't seem not connected to his emotions.
No.
But you're right. But I just want to make that distinction. But he does process first intellectually.
Right.
And Danielle, though, is not, y'all. She's emotion.
She's the exact opposite.
Danielle, I really like her, but Danielle's a raw beating nerve, y'all.
It's probably going to be trouble later.
She is just like,
but
so wrong.
Someone like Nick is a good match for that.
I agree with that.
Because people like that need someone to caretake them, and Nick needs someone to take care of.
It's true. And she says that all her parents are all divorced. She's never seen a successful relationship. She doesn't really trust relationships. And Nick said, well, my parents divorced since I was 5. And she said, she tells him immediately, she's like, I was a lot heavier growing up. I lost about 70 pounds. And she said, I've been in the bed with a guy I'm dating, and he's looking at other girls. Or she's like, I'm just scared people are wondering. And or what if they're wondering, what if I get back to my weight? What if I gain that weight all back? And she's very insecure about that.
Right.
And she tells Nick this. She tells all of this. So Danielle's like, but Danielle said he pulled that story out of me really quick. Most guys don't do that. And she was impressed by that. So
it's because he listens and instead of talking over her. Because that's normally the guy. Normally the guys she chooses are guys like Shane.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And so that's why there's such a quick connection, is
Yeah, 'cause
because
yeah.
neither
Yeah.
neither one they're exactly, and I hate this metaphor, but it's true sometimes. Sometimes you find exactly the puzzle piece you need.
Yeah.
Not that two people have to complete one another, but where you lack, the other person can really help you. You have to have the same kind of language and values. We'll talk about lack of values later. Um,
Woo! That's gonna come
but
up.
speaking of, Kyle and Shayna are coming up soon.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little
Sure,
bit.
sure, 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 sure.
So Shayna's like, I love your voice. And basically he says, my mom's the best person in the world. You remind me of my mom. I personally, I would not like being told that, but
No, no,
yeah,
no. She was like, "You have the best voice here," and um, we've Shayna finds out that Kyle is a contractor, and she said, "Oh, so is my dad, and so is my brother." And she said, "Do you think
right.
I'm rough around the edges?" And he's like, "Yeah, people say that about me." Y'all, Kyle is pretty. He's really handsome. He's got. I think this is cute. This is why I brought it. I wasn't. Jake and I both think like the big ear thing is really cute on him. He's ripped. He's fucking buff.
Oh, I'm sure. I cannot tell from moment to moment if his face is attractive. I go out and like, well, I'll see him. I'm like, no, he's really cute. And I'll see him another angle. I'm like, what's that?
He gets cuter when he grows his beard.
I totally agree.
Agree. And he has a beautiful smile. Beautiful
I
smile.
totally agree. I
Like,
think
y'all, I totally need to whiten my teeth after watching this show. Everybody has the
he's
whitest teeth.
he's one of the most clueless men that I've ever seen on television,
But
unfortunately.
he's a pretty lovesick puppy. That I think he's just like a wandering puppy who just wants to be pet.
And y'all, this is what happens when some men, I said some straight men, but when some men find vulnerability and they
And
let it
that's yeah,
happen, and
yes.
they become almost like drunk on vulnerability.
But it's see because
And
yeah, and it's interesting with him because when you think of a contractor, I think of someone like my dad or like your brother's a contract. But these aren't
my
men like
brother is weirdly vulnerable, though.
it's true.
He can be that way.
But for Kyle to really be this into vulnerability and like it's just he's just I like that he is not who you would think he would be, a construction worker.
No,
You would not think that. And so it's surprising. Um
but they called him a construction worker. I'm sure he's a contractor.
Probably. Now he says
Yeah.
he's an old soul, and that
God, I hate that expression.
his mom is his biggest influencer, and Shayna feels the same way about her mom. Now Shayna says that she was engaged before, and she said
He was
I was engaged
controlling. He was
before.
crazy.
Long story short, God said no. He was crazy, and she
Which
called
just
it.
tells you, y'all, she blamed God.
She blamed God for that. She called it off 40 days before the wedding. She said it's the hardest thing she ever did.
Have you ever met someone who said, I have a really new soul?
No, that's true. I've never. Well, people don't say no; they say young. But I have heard people say they're a young soul.
Like old people?
Just people in general. I've said, "Oh, she's a young soul." Yeah,
Oh,
I've
really?
said,
I've never heard that expression before.
"Oh, yeah, young soul, an old soul, and a young soul." Yeah,
I've only heard old soul because it's supposed to mean I'm young, but I'm also old. I've never heard the expression young soul.
but I mean, yeah,
I'll have
people
to look
do
it
say
up.
it about old people. But yeah, but I mean, I've heard about some people in their 40s and stuff too. But yeah, you've never heard that like
I've only heard young at heart.
oh, well, yeah. So
I've never heard someone say, "Yeah, I have a young soul." Because that's almost because no one wants a young soul. You want an old soul because that's obviously more.
wisdom or whatever. But y'all,
Yeah.
Kyle is not an old soul.
Yeah. Come at us if you tell people you have a young soul. I want to know
Yeah.
what that means.
It could be a Maddie thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
Or just an Oklahoma thing. We say weird things here.
Yeah, I've just never because an old soul is one of those things that's overused. No one really knows what it means. They just say it.
They just say it.
And the thing, if you've listened to this show long enough, I get really pissed off about things that people say and they don't know what they mean.
I think I get it when people say old soul.
What does it mean?
I get it when people say that you have a vinegar soul.
I'm a vinegar baby.
Vinegar
I
burger.
know exactly what that means.
Oh God. So
Instead of
Shayna
a
talks.
sugar baby, I spit vinegar at you.
So Shayna talks to Kyle, but next Shayna ends up talking to Shane.
God, I hate these
And
two
so
names together.
what is interesting about this show is y'all, and it's kind of scary if you're
He's
dating
like,
because
what are you wearing?
yes, because you see how
They get very sexual.
how some people become completely different people when they speak to other people. And that's y'all, welcome to the world of dating. And
No,
so
that's Shane.
that is Shane. That is Shane. Yeah.
And
But
that because he's a salesman. And y'all, that these are all parts of Shane, and Shane is a good actor. That's what I'm saying. This guy is an undercover dick. He will make
well,
you think he's a completely other way.
he is a good actor, but also there is, I think, energetically what people give off. And I think Shayna is giving off this vibe of more way different than what Natalie would give to Shane.
Yep.
And so with Shayna, that they do, whereas Natalie's is kind of they're talking and kind of flirting. Shayna, it totally is just he's like, so he asked her, what are
I'm
you
wearing this
wearing?
crop top, and like he's like, that's so hot.
He's like, that's so hot. I love crop tops so
That's
much.
so hot in my Gary Busey
Oh
voice.
God. She's like, do you love making out? Do you love making out?
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing ever.
And then Shane says he likes to fuck outdoors and he likes to fuck around in bathrooms. And that's what I thought
love any kind of public sex.
That's what I thought he became a little bit more attractive to me.
I would totally bang him in my 20s at like a bar where I'd had a fake ID to get into.
I know.
Ugh, God, I know that about myself. You know what? I wouldn't bang him. I would suck his dick in a bathroom.
I wouldn't know.
Sorry, everybody.
I wouldn't know that. Wouldn't know that. Never done that at all.
Because there's a certain guy you won't bang, but there's a certain type of guy you will suck their dick in a bathroom.
Yeah, that's where oral gonorrhea comes from.
Never gotten it. Shocking. I know.
Shocking. So y'all, this show moves differently. So where before I feel like we wouldn't be talking this so much, but basically, I think we're still in the same. Yeah. In the first episode, we already see people really starting to couple up, which we didn't get that last season. I feel like they waited more for episode 2 and 3. But where was I? Oh, so then now we're starting to get repeats of people. Then we have Shane and Natalie again. And Shane talks about that his father passed away a couple of months ago. And he talked about how I want to see my mother at my wedding and I want my mom to see my grandchildren. When that's like the best thing that you could say to Natalie.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. To me, as someone who's dated enough, I've been on a lot of dates, you can tell when someone's winding you up. If that makes sense.
Oh, Natalie can't.
She can't, and that's unfortunate. You can tell when someone is telling you what you want to hear because he's an actor. He's a salesman. He's selling himself.
He is selling himself, yeah. And so, I think too that Natalie he's selling himself. And actually, I think Natalie, if you notice this, he does a lot of the talking, and Natalie holds back a lot.
Yep.
Which to me, that I'll be interested to see how they are in the real world when she because she talks about being a go-getter and all that. So what is she here in the pod? She's thrown off, but what's she going to be like in the real world where she's back working? She's doing these things.
Out of all the people on this show, Natalie, I want to take aside and say, girl, not that I want to like her to depend on me, but we need to have 2 weeks where we just build you up. We need 2 weeks because you are so smart. You're gorgeous. We need just some 2 weeks of affirmation for you. And
I don't think Natalie needs to be on reality TV.
She doesn't
for love. I think this is going to be a hard process for her.
She's too open about being herself. There's no boundary, if that makes sense, between her and because Shane has a boundary between what's there and what's him. But the other person who doesn't need to be on reality television is Jarrett.
I agree, but
And
I'm glad for it. But
yeah, but boy.
who was it? Somebody was like this way too in the house or in the pods last year who didn't have a boundary, but then when they got outside, they suddenly had walls up. So it's like in the pods, they could be
Kelly.
themselves. Yes, and I think she could be a Kelly. In the pods, she's able to like be that, but then when
Mhm.
she gets out of this, I think she's going to I think it's going to be hard for her. That's
Yep. No, Kelly was
anyway.
exactly like that.
Yes, she reminds me a lot of. Thank you for saying that.
Yep. I really liked her. She's unfortunately, I think Kelly is, unless she does a lot of work on herself, I think she's going to be single because she's going to find a problem with everybody she dates.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And it was the nature of what she was saying when she was out, but I liked her a lot. I liked Kelly a lot.
And so, but we should say Shane and Natalie. This goes really, really well. And uh, Shane, she says he says, she's like, I'm so glad you talked about that. And Natalie says, Shane is my guy. I'm obsessed, and he just validated this. And y'all, Shane even told her, he said, I put your name on my notebook and I put a heart around it on the outside of my notebook. And he was like,
To Natalie, yeah.
you're my number one. And
And Shayna's watching all that,
Shane
and
is
she
hearing
wants
all
to
this.
win, y'all. Now, I will say, she doesn't pull a Jessica and go over and mess with her.
No, she keeps it all in the pod because now Shane and Shayna go in a pod, and she's like, "So I heard you proposed today to Natalie."
He's like, "What? I don't even know. I
What?
don't even know." Because that's the thing. When he's called on something, he's like, "Why did you say that? I don't know why you're saying this. I don't know why you're saying this in a Gary Busey voice."
God. And she's like, "You're sold on one woman already. I know it." And Shane's like, "No, this process is we're just doing the process. We're just doing the process." And she's like, "Yeah,
I just
no."
want to keep talking to you more.
So she's like, "Yeah, no." So they kind of fizzle, and then Nick, this is a problem I have with this first episode. We didn't get a lot of Nick and Danielle. We kind of saw them once, and then all of a sudden, we're about 3/4 through the episode, and Nick says, "I decided 2 days ago it was Danielle." And I went,
Well,
"Wait a minute." So now we're 2 days in. I'm confused.
Here's why. We've got way too much drama with everybody else. So the more normal couple is always going to get, because what happened last time is in episode 3. Remember when there had only been a couple people who had been proposed to? We had people we barely knew proposing.
Yes. That's great.
And so that's what happened last time with Kenny and Kelly.
I wouldn't even mind if this episode, y'all, this show is 10 episodes. I actually wouldn't mind. I would
12.
never say this, but I think 12, it should be 6 and 6.
I agree.
Y'all, the whole
6
point
in
is
the pods.
they do 5 episodes. Well, no, actually, they do 3 episodes in
3
the
episodes
pods,
in the pods,
and then
2 in Cancun.
2 in Mexico, on like just with the couples. So the first 5 is just them, and then the next 5 is them out in the world.
4 or 5 in these awful apartments in Atlanta where they're all like living kind of together and doing things. But don't worry, the goblets are still there.
The goblets are still there. So, so Nick now it's like, being with Danielle makes me calm and content, and we're able to spend hours and hours to get to know one another. And then that's what I don't remember them doing this as much last season, but then they do. So this is what they're doing. They're fast tracking someone, telling us that he's about to ask her to marry him, but then they show the relationship via flashbacks. So they show all these special moments via flashbacks, then letting us see it in real time. I didn't love that.
Weird. I think it had to do with what they wanted to put into the first episode.
And it's like they want to get to the real world quicker, which I don't enjoy. But
I don't enjoy it, but I think that's what they think people want, because
maybe
there is more drama there, but I find the pods like much more compelling.
Oh yeah, I could watch like 7 episodes of them just in pods.
Yeah, me too. But I think for a lot of people who aren't like us, but people have said the pods are claustrophobic. A lot of people think that watching the pods are claustrophobic.
y'all put in the comments if you're on Patreon, or tweet us at Reality Gates Pod, or Instagram Reality Gates Podcast, and let
Tell
us
us
know
what
you
you
think.
like. Do you like more pod time or real world time?
A real world time. So, okay.
I'm a pod person.
Poodle's a pod person. So
You didn't get that joke. Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they call them pod people.
Never seen it.
I know.
What, is that a movie?
I don't know why I bother.
Okay.
Yes, it's a movie. You're winding me up. Go on.
Okay.
That's a movie, you doofus.
Is it
You've heard Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Is that Spielberg?
I don't know.
George Lucas?
Robert Heinlein, I think.
It's from the 80s?
It was a horror movie, so you never saw it.
Oh,
no. You would have peed yourself.
Full stop. I don't see those movies. I get scared. So I don't want somebody to snatch my body. Well, Jarek can snatch my body. But so anyway, we're talking about Nick and Danielle. And so we kind of see all these moments and where they talk about, like, she's empathetic. He said he's empathetic. Like they both are friends with different people. They have so much in common.
I don't think it was very interesting. I think that's why we had to fast track it.
I guess so. She's crying and she's like,
he gives her a gift, that book, which I thought was really sweet.
He does say to her, though, she's crying and she's like, I feel like something bad is going to happen with y'all. That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
For her.
Y'all, she's got trauma that we haven't even unearthed.
No, it's not just I was once a big girl trauma.
No,
like something else happened.
Nick's got a rude awakening for some stories. I guarantee you. It's like it's like me when after our 4th date, where I start telling you all the things that are wrong with me.
Well, and yes, y'all, when people, as Maya Angelou said, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Because then she says, he's like talking about, he's saying, like, they talk about a ring at one point and all this stuff. And Danielle says, kind of shaking her head, she's like, I don't deserve you. Y'all, is somebody saying that I don't deserve you?
Yeah, you don't.
If you say that, y'all stop saying that. Yes, you do. Everybody deserves love if that's what they want, or they deserve to be seen and validated in that way. Anyway, they have the final. Let's talk about their final meeting. They have the final meeting, and he said it was really sweet. Nick said this. Is this the one you cried on?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
And they're talking about. I did start crying.
Did you cry? Let me guess. Did you cry when he said we talked about how we could write our own story and he gave her a book?
That was so sweet.
I knew that's what it was, y'all. He gives her a notebook.
I think Nick is so cute.
I do too.
But and I don't usually like blondes.
Same.
Or redheads.
Same. And so,
or people who aren't naturally redheaded who dye their hair.
Not familiar. And so he gives her this notebook and he says, this is the start of our story. And we can fill it with...
Oh, God, if you did this to me, I'd be putting in your hands.
We can fill it with memories and adventures and everything that a marriage can be. And I'm on one knee asking, will you marry me?
And she says, I felt so calm because and this is someone who is like finally like assuaging her anxiety. I don't think it's for long, though.
I don't think it's for long. And she says, I feel like it doesn't matter. So she says yes. And then they
can talk about their meeting. Let's talk about their meeting, and then we'll
finish with Shane. Yeah.
So y'all, they meet when he does propose, and they meet. One of the things about this show is
they meet at episode 2.
No, you're right. It's the very ending,
top of
so we don't see it.
So we're just left with y'all. There's this hallway, and there's 2 like Star Trek doors that open up, and you see them see one another, and then the episode ends. Yep.
And so let's talk about Natalie and Shane's last little date.
Okay,
here.
This is where I was like, okay, this show is changing. This show is changing the rules, and I'm into it.
I squealed. And so Shane walks in and goes, well, who am I talking to?
And yes, he walks in and he's like, and he says, y'all, he thinks it's Shayna. And he's like, hey, what are you wearing? And she says,
what?
This is what?
You look good.
She's like, this is Natalie. And he goes, oh, I just used the wrong persona.
I
for the
was
wrong
dead.
person. I was like, what?
I grabbed a lily and fell back on the floor.
I
And
told you to get that. I told you to get that fainting couch, and you won't do it.
all of my loved ones said prayers over me because I died.
Poodle, the lady of Shalott.
I died on the floor
We
when he
just
went when it said
pushed him
when she
down the
went
Los Angeles River, and somebody threw cans at him, and somebody peed on him.
and she went, "It's Natalie." I went, and I had literally I expired.
Yes.
And I was sent back quickly into my body.
And Natalie's like, what? And she's just silent. And
he's like, "Are we good? Are we good?"
And she's like, and then she's just sitting there, y'all. And he says, if you think I'm a dick, then this is just weird and this isn't going to work.
Y'all, this is him.
And then she's still
him.
She's still silent. He's like, well, Natalie, you're talking to other people too. And Natalie finally says, I just feel a little bit led on. Now, remember, y'all, I know they're talking to other people. He already basically told her like,
she was her number one.
Number one. And so Natalie says, well, she's like, if you want to explore, then don't talk about all this stuff we're going to do in Chicago. I think this year the show's in Chicago, and I think they got people from Chicago this year. She said, but if you don't want to talk about all this stuff, don't talk about what we're going to do in Chicago. Because, y'all, that's a problem with a lot of these people. They talk about what we're going to do outside the
bullshitter.
pod. But what I love about the analogy, y'all, if you're dating a person online via an app and they're either emailing you or texting you all the time, and they're talking about all the stuff you're going to do outside of the app, but then they delay meeting you, drop that person. That's a red flag. But this is literally what happens.
Oh, I guess I better get rid of like 2 people. You just read me for pills. Hold on, I need a minute. Let me get on Grindr. Click, 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 click. Sorry, I don't think I can go with you to Tijuana next week. Oh well. Thanks for ruining another what may have been a long-lasting relationship.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But he's saying things like, it's not fair. Like, why are you getting upset?
Because he even said, I'm giving everything I have to you. I'm trying to find a wife.
He's blaming her for acting this way.
When she did nothing. Oh. And then he says, you're on the cover of my book, for Christ's sake. You're my number one. And she said, don't feed me bullshit.
And then, y'all, he says,
this is not fair.
If this hiccup changes everything, maybe this is not what we thought. He's like, I'm going to leave. Y'all, this is the person who threatens to be out and threatens to break up with someone and then expects the other person to relent, which is what has always done in every relationship. That's when I literally threw in the towel with this guy now in episode 1.
And then what happens in episode 2 will shock you.
Oh my God. It
will shock you. And we're going to talk about it in episode 2. But right now, y'all, that's it. That's the show. That's the end of episode 1 of Love is Blind.
Is so good.
I am so enjoying talking about this with you. This show is so good, y'all. This is a great show for you to binge and call your girlfriends and talk about this show.
Or your boyfriends.
Well, if you're talking to your boyfriend about this, he gay.
I know some men like it.
That's true. That's true. A lot of straight guys actually. You actually should, if you're in a couple, you should watch this show with a couple because I think it's a great conversation for couples to.
And it's a great way to talk about if you're having, not that you're always having problems, but a great way to think about how intentions work in relationships.
Yes,
and how just dynamic of who sets the rules and anyway, but I love this season.
I do too so far, y'all. So go to realitygates.com. Hey, see us in Los Angeles on February 27th. We'll be talking about the Love is Blind fun.
With our guest, Kimberly and Katie from Date with Dateline.
Yes. Hopefully they watch Love is. I don't know if they watch.
Oh, I'm going to tell them they need to.
Yep, you're just going to tell them they have to.
Yep.
Yes, we're so excited they're going to be there, y'all. We're going to be selling our merch. It's an LA show, so we'll actually be selling our coffee mugs because normally
we'll have some mugs.
They're too heavy to fly across the fucking country. So,
well, we probably need to get some more of those.
No, we don't. We're selling out of them. It's going to be a limited run because we're not playing. You want to drag them all over the country?
No.
They're a limited edition, so get them while
you could pack them in your suitcase.
No. Okay, y'all. We're also going to be going to Seattle, Portland. We're very excited for that. We're going to see you in March. Y'all, if you're interested in this, we're going to have one more show on the free feed. And remember, after that, episode 3 is going to go all behind the paywall on our Patreon and Supercast. So you have to join the Patreon Supercast at the $5 tier to get that content.
Also, y'all, stay tuned. Very soon, I did do a Bi Curious poll for those of you. So vote for our Bi Curious if you're on our Patreon. It's either between Love Off the Grid, Adults Adopting Adults, or Like Mother, Like Daughter. But pretty much, it's going to be between Love Off the Grid and Adults Adopting Adults. But we also are doing a crossover of Surviving Sister Wives, talking about the show Sister Wives, and that will be available next week.
It will. So, y'all, be sure to check our Instagram. We have an announcement.
Oh, we've got a lot going on.
We do. We have an announcement coming on February 14th, a special announcement that's going to be on our Instagram that we're going to announce with something coming up. All right, everybody. How do we end this show? I don't remember. I should have listened to one of our prior episodes.
Oh,
I think.
How about this? And remember, y'all, my pod is open.
No, that's gross. That's gross. I think we. Oh Lord, he's having a coughing fit. Oh wow, that's really attractive. I think we ended it with, and remember, or ask yourself. I think we ended. Is love blind?
Love blind.
That's how we ended it. Is it?
Yeah. Love is blind. Love is blind.